started Well, today I gotta try to fix the starter motor on the tow truck. The last time I moved it from over there to over here, I used one fully charged battery, one jump box, and a battery charger running on 100 amp starting power, and I got it to barely turn over the engine. So today I'm going to remove the starter and take it apart and see if we can fix it. So I'm going to start with jacking the truck up and put some jack stands under it. Well, I'm under the tow truck now. We'll see if you can see anything here. Kind of dark. But there's the starter. And it's got a lot of oil leaks everywhere. I'll fix this before I start using this again. But it's on jack stands. It weighs 1,900 kilos on the front wheels. So these jack stands, they're strong enough. So where are the wires? I wonder if I have to take this skid plate off, get more access. The wires are in up there. I'm gonna get some lights in here, see what kind of tools I need to unbolt it, and I go from there. Kan ni se hur rostiga anslutningarna är? Fan vad jag skakar. Ser jag rostiga anslutningar här. Ska prova något nytt här. Nu blir det upp och ner. Så rust off. This is supposed to take everything off. And my connections are really bad. So I'm gonna spray this on and let it sit for a while and see if it takes care of it. Well, you gotta sit there for a while. And in the meantime, I'm gonna hook up a cable to the stove. So the cheap stove I bought because our broke. Här finns det resurser när man kopplar el. Så koppa av de här ringklämmorna först. Då skalar vi lite. Det ser ut att vara 2,5 kvadrat. Ja, 1,5 går ju in. Vi köra på 1,5 då. Så va. Här blir bra kontakter. Håller på med el vet du, då är det viktigt att man gör rätt. This I gotta try to fix. Get this cables off this. But now when the starter is out, it's more room. With I'm gonna use a steel brush on the drill, clean this all up, and soak it in WD-40 or something, so to get it off. But I'm afraid the starter is gone. It's too bad. These are expensive starters. But see here, this house is all cracked, and on this side a couple of pieces are missing, even here too. So gotta get a new starter. It's got a GM sticker on it. I guess it was replaced sometime in the past. The truck is from 2003, so it's 20 years old, right? 13, 23. Yeah, it's 20 years old. Oh, it's cracked here too. This is shot. See if I can find a starter in the junkyard. They're cheaper than a new one. So I took the old starter apart to see, and this bearing is gone. So this bearing is gone, and also this bearing has gone too. And there's a gear in here, goes in there, and it's really worn down the aluminum housing here, and there's absolutely none kind of lubrication in here. I don't think it's supposed to be, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take apart the new starter I got from the junkyard. This starter from my tow truck, I have no clue how many miles it's got on it. The instrument cluster has been replaced many times. Well, at least 2 times, I know for sure. So the mileage, I have no idea what mileage it's got. But considering the wear in here, I would guess that this starter has been starting that engine a lot of times. So I think it's affected by the mileage this has. Or they replaced the starter with a used one that was kind of worn out from the beginning. I don't know. But I'm going to take apart the other starter I have and see what it looks like. And I'm going to put just a tiny little bit of grease in here. Not much, because the starter gets really hot and the grease melts and then it runs down and in the wrong places. So I'm just a little bit I'm going to put in there. So let's put this away and start taking apart the other starter. Let's start taking this apart.
Well, this bearing, it got some grease in it. Sounds a little bit, not much. The brushes, they look good. They're not worn out that much. A little bit dirty, and used to be some grease there. All this stuff, this old dried out grease. So, oops. Let's split this housing. Yeah, it used to be grease in it, but there was no grease in mine. Mine was bone dry. So the question is, why didn't have my starter had any grease in it? Well, this bearing is a lot better than mine. Yeah, this one have no wear, like on my starter. And I wish I could take this out, but oh, that was easy. This bearing is shot. So, what about mine? Oh, that's even worse. So, what do I do with this one? I might be able to squeeze in some grease in from the back here, because it's a capsuled bearing. But I think I can get some from behind. So anyway, let's take this out. So we can clean this up. So let's get a bucket and put it in my degreaser bath. So while the other stuff is soaking in the degreaser, we can clean this up. Rubber gaskets I never put in degreaser because they get kind of swallow up and then they don't fit. And this is plastic and copper, so I'm just gonna clean this with a wire brush. And I wanna soak this in degreaser because it might get trapped in between the copper wires. Never know. So I clean this by hand, what I can. Same with this one. And this is not that dirty, and it's all metal. So I clean this by hand too. So let's start. Yeah. feels a lot better. I just discovered a little gasket here. There, a little O-ring. Man, there's one on the other side too. Let's go outside and clean the rest. Well, I guess it's time to put the starter together. So let's start with the gearbox. I think that's a good idea. So I got some grease in this bearing. It's dead quiet now. And same with this one. I greased them up, and this one is dead quiet too. So that one goes in there. Then remember, on the old starter, this was worn out. So we're gonna put a little bit of grease there. Do some for the gear on the outside too. Doesn't need too much. You don't want this grease from like so. You don't want the grease, too much grease is it could possibly melt from the heat and get all gummed up somewhere else. Do a little bit on these two. It's not much I'm putting on there. It's just so it's not bone dry. I mean, this starter is not going to be used a lot in the near future, right now. If I start making some money on YouTube, I'm going to fix the tow truck and use it in my videos, like so. Then this house goes like this, if I remember correctly. Yep. Like so. Because this one goes down here. And you have the spring. Push it up. And this one pushes on that ball. Like so. This is the one that pushes the gear out to engage in the flywheel or the flex plate, because it's an automatic. So let's put this on the side. I can put in the bolts, and we do a little bit of copper anti-seize. On these bolts. scared the shit out of me, that. And that was 9, if I remember correctly. What is it? That's 7. This is 9. That's 1. Take the other one. Like so. And to the gasket. Gasket was this way. Cover. Little tiny bolts. Same here. Do some anti-seize on them. Put anti-seize on them. Makes it easier for me to open them in the future if I need to. These are tiny M3s, so you don't have to tighten them too hard. I got my torque wrench in my wrist from working on cars for 25 plus years. So let's do the let's put the O-rings on there. On this one. That one was big. This one is small. So they're different size. There's a groove here that the O-ring rests in, and I usually put a little bit of grease on it. Less chance for the O-ring to get damaged. Let's do the other side. I wish I had new ones to put it on there. but I don't. So let's do a little bit of grease on this one too. Don't need much. It's just so it's a little bit slippery. Like so. Okay. Do we need any more grease on this one? No. So this one goes in this way. So let's put this in here. Put in this first, like so. And we put this on top. And there's a what the hell is it called? Like a keyway here, and there's a dot here, so you can only put this one way, like so. Yeah. Went in smoothly when I cleaned all this stuff. That one we can put on later. To get the brushes in the holder, the two brushes that's already on here, I just pull them up, push them up, and the spring holds them up here on both sides. And the other ones that's on here, that needs to get in here. I'm going to try this with the screwdriver and see if this works. But I see now that they might be in the way. They're kind of too long, so let's try something else here. Okay, so this one needs to go in like this. Oh, I could use 3 hands now. Oh, there's one, I think. Yeah. One is in. So let's get the other one. Oh, that was easy. Why didn't I do that from the beginning? Like so. Then you can push the brushes in. so. Put this on. And get some anti-seize on this. Size was that? That's 8. A lot of different sizes on this starter. So before we tighten that, gotta these screws for the brush holder, same here. Do some anti-seize, because I noticed on my old starter these were impossible to get off. They were really stuck on there. So it's another good thing when I put anti-seize on them. So, and now we could tighten this one. Like so. Let's do this connection here. One, and they have on the other side, they have 2, and that's this one. And I cleaned this up as good as I could. And I remember this was the small one here. That's the number 7. And it was the one with the nut with the washer on that side. This was the 7. Like so. Put this cover on here. tighten this up a little bit. And this one goes on here. I think that was an 8. Yeah. I always run them down like this to see that the threads are okay. That one goes there. Is that 12 or 13? That was 13. Same with this one. And there we go. One starter. So let's see if it works. Got a jump box. It's grounded here. Got some power. You ready? Like brand new. So let's put it back on the tow truck. Like that. Cut off this. As you can see here, there's no way in hell I could have loosened this nut from this one. No way. And not this one either. The small one. This is kind of this got a, it's been sitting for a while, the tow truck. Been sitting for 15, 5, 6, 7 years, so it takes a toll on it. Now I'm gonna put the starter back, wire it up, and then we'll see if it starts. Let's see now if it starts. It should start with just a jump box if it's got enough power in the box. I don't know. Trying to find the charger, but I put stuff need the key ready because sometimes the alarm goes off after I hook up the battery. So let's see if it does it this time. No. Let's see what happens. What a difference. What a difference. Was barely enough power in the jump box and it just fired right up. This is old school cast iron V8, push rods, a simple fuel injection, multi-port fuel injection. It's been sitting for about a year. Fires right up. These trucks, they run forever. I'm gonna let this run for a while. I'll let this run while I get rid of the jack stands. And also I kind of wanted to get, when I started like this, when it's sitting a long time, I want to run it to its operating temperature. Get the coolant circulating and the oil and everything. I just don't start a vehicle and then turn it right off and let it sit for another year. No, I run it until it's warmed up and everything. Thermostats opens everywhere. But that's it for this video. That worked out pretty good. I paid 1,000 crown for the starter and 150 crown for shipping. So that's not bad. 1,000 bucks for the starter. And this was from an ambulance with 150,000 kilometers, which means that because it's an ambulance, they don't start it every single day. You know, sometimes they sit for a period of days before they drive it. So, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.